These are the most expensive iPhones Apple have ever made. Some might say they're even a little bit excessive. Excessive. No. Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and this is the new iPhone XS, and this is the XS Max. Now, terrible names aside, if you're looking to buy a new top-of-the-line iPhone, which one of these two should you go for? I love listening to audiobooks, especially when I'm driving or on the train, which is why I've teamed up with Audible, who are kindly sponsoring this video. I'm about halfway through the X-Files at the moment, don't judge me, which is one of their exclusive Audible originals. You can actually get 2 Audible originals plus any book from their huge library completely free if you use my link in the description or go to audible.com/techchap and sign up for a free 30-day trial. Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out more about Audible, but for now, let's get back to the iPhones. So obviously, the biggest difference between these two is the size. The XS has a 5.8-inch display versus 6.5 inches on the XS Max. But aside from that, the screens are identical. They both have True Tone OLED panels with the same 458 ppi sharpness and support for Dolby Vision and HDR10 high dynamic range. And they both still have the notch, which means when you're watching YouTube videos or Netflix movies, you have some pretty chunky pillar boxing going on. Unless of course you zoom in, but then the notch kind of gets in the way. Now you probably wouldn't believe it just by looking at them, but the Max does actually have ever so slightly thinner bezels. You get a 84.4% screen to body ratio on the Max versus 82.9 on the XS. But you really can't tell. It's funny, the first time I actually picked these up and used them side by side, I thought the XS Max was huge, but after a few minutes, after getting to grips with them a little bit, actually, it feels like the XS is the one that's small. I've been using quite a few big phones recently, like the OnePlus 6 and the Galaxy Note 9, so for me, the XS Max actually feels like a... Shut up, Twitter. So for me, the XS Max actually feels like a better size. And if you're coming from an iPhone Plus model, the 6 Plus, 7 Plus, 8 Plus, the XS Max feels just the same size in the hand. They're both 7.7 millimeters thick, but the Max is 6.5 millimeters wider and 14 millimeters taller. So next to each other, that's quite a big difference. But personally, I do prefer the size of the Max, although as I say, I am used to slightly bigger phones. If you can though, I would pop into an Apple store, try them for yourself, because really that's the only way you'll get a good impression. What I was most surprised about though, and actually slightly disappointed I guess, is that even though you have all this extra screen real estate on the XS Max, it's not really used to any great effect. There's no user interface difference between them. Obviously everything is bigger and games and movies do feel more immersive, but you don't get anything extra. You can't use it horizontally, something previous Plus models could do. And going onto Instagram or Twitter, you don't actually see any more posts. It's just enlarged. And of course, performance is identical. They both ship with iOS 12, they both use the new A12 Bionic chip and have 4 gigs of RAM. In Geekbench 4, they scored within a couple of % of each other, so no real substantial difference in speed. But if you're watching movies or playing games, like Asphalt 9, which just looks stunning on these phones, between the two, I do prefer the Max. It's not only faster, but the bigger screen does just make it feel more immersive and more enjoyable. So far then, the only real difference is the size, but actually the Max does have one more trick up its sleeve. Well, a bigger battery up its sleeve. The XS has a 2,658 mAh cell versus 3,174 on the XS Max. Neither of those batteries sound big, especially compared to the Huawei P20 Pro or the Galaxy Note 9 with their massive 4,000 mAh cells, but iPhones have always been more optimized. And actually, the XS Max lasts longer than my Note 9, but I'll come back to that in a different video. After 1 hour of gaming, 1 hour of watching YouTube videos, and 1 hour of listening to Audible, the XS had 68% of its battery remaining versus 71% on the Max. In real-world use, I found this translates to about an extra hour of battery life per day, which is pretty much bang on what Apple claims. At the end of a normal day, I have about 30% left on my XS and about 34% on the Max, so it's not a major difference. It's probably not a big enough reason to buy the Max over the XS alone, but it is a nice bonus. So the big upgrades this year really are the A12 processors and the better cameras, with both phones offering significantly better dynamic range in photos compared to last year's iPhone 10. But there's no difference between the XS and the XS Max. They have exactly the same cameras. I don't know, I just felt there would be more to it than this. The XS Max really is just a bigger XS with a slightly better battery life. Now, as for the price, as you'd expect, these are ludicrously expensive. The XS Max starts at $1,000 for the 64 gig model versus $1,100 for the XS Max. So actually, there is only a $100 difference between them. I think I would go with the Max. I'm used to bigger phones, and I do like to watch movies and play games on it, and that bigger screen does just feel better to do those things on. And actually, in the scheme of things, a $100 difference isn't a whole lot more. And that extra hour of battery is a nice extra. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did. I'll see you guys next time right here on the Tech Chap. So I listened to Ready Player One as an audiobook on Audible before I watched the movie. I definitely preferred the book. Audible is a lifesaver when I'm traveling or commuting. They've got such a huge library of audiobooks, and I can just download them to my phone and away I go. It'll suggest new titles based on what I like, it saves my place so I can come back to it whenever I can, and there's just so much variety, including their awesome Audible Originals, which is a new range of exclusive titles. All I'd say is give it a try. Sign up for a free 30-day trial by going to audible.com/techchap, or click on the link in the description, or text TechChap to 500 if you're in the US to get a free book and 2 free Audible Originals. So a big thanks to Audible for sponsoring this video. Go and check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.